on. Bing, bing. On the clock. I'm getting serious. I'm drinking my coffee. Mm-hmm. All right. Are we ready?
I think so.
We are?
Yes.
All right. So we should start rolling.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What are we talking about today?
Today.
Yes.
We're talking about favorite wines.
Favorite wines?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'll tell you right off the bat, I got to admit, I'm ill-prepared. I can never remember producers' names. I can never do it. I'm great at grapes.
That's very surprising to hear.
I know. So if I stumble a little bit and try to remember names, or I might even not even mention names.
Okay, because you're kind of the Rain Man of wine.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
I do, yeah. But you know so I have a different way of looking at wine.
Yeah.
I really look at not the producers, but the regions for specific grapes.
Okay.
And then the styles in that region and specific winemakers who may or may not move around to different wineries. So I'm not really a brand guy.
Yeah.
You know, which is one of the reasons why people just hate it because I won't promote certain brands.
Mm-hmm.
And if we did at the school, we would have so much free booze.
Yes, that's true.
And I just don't like doing it. So
yeah.
So anyway, so I'm pretty bad at that because it's not my. So this is actually not gonna. I'm gonna admit this is not really my deepest skill.
Well.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a very. Noted.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Preamble booked.
There you are.
So we're not going to be talking about specific producers necessarily.
Okay, that's that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I didn't realize I was running the show, but okay, great.
You are.
Okay, great.
Everyone knows you are.
Okay. All right, cool. So favorite wines. I mean.
Yeah. Well, you want me to start?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well. I have mentioned in the past, my absolute love of the Dolomites and the Piedmont. Yes. In Italy, there's so much excitement there, and I've also talked about Chile and great things in Argentina as well. We've talked about these, but really amazing places. I want to go to a little bit of a classic. Mm-hmm. I want to go into the Northern Rhone, and my favorite wines aren't the really expensive ones, not the ones that are in that cost hundreds of dollars. Yeah. Actually, I really love wines from San Josef, like these beautiful Syrahs, and those are some of my all-time favorites. Not Hermitage because those are just so expensive, but Croz's Hermitage. Not all of them, but some that are they're so amazing. I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
They're that classic Syrah, which I so much love, which is basically just, stinky.
Yeah.
And delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, Syrah, we differ on that. For me, I think I've mentioned this before, the meatiness, the sort of irony, arterial blood quality you mentioned. Yeah. It just, that's not my favorite spots. But I do love the Southern Rhone. So give me Grenache. Yes. And I love old vine Grenache from McLaren Vale in Australia, right?
Yes, those are amazing.
Phenomenal. Gigondas in the Southern Rhone is phenomenal.
All-time favorite.
I love Grenache from Sardinia. So it goes by a different name there. Yes. But it's the Grenache grape. Yes. So called Cannonau in Sardinia. That's one of my very favorites.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's true. And I know, and that's a deep cut right there.
It is a little bit of a deep cut, but...
Have you ever had a Grenache from Washington State? A long time ago.
A long time ago, yes.
Because I love them.
Because that's not one of their major. They're really more into Merlot, Syrah, Cab.
Yeah, there's very little of it that I've seen, but I've seen a little bit. It ends up having that very distinctive Columbia Valley mintiness to it. So you end up having all that lavender and garrigue, but then a distinct minty fattiness in the mid palate, which was so cool and so weird. It's kind of almost, Grenache goes menthol.
All right, well, thanks for one-upping me.
I'm not one-upping you. I just think it's weird and fun. I know.
No, that sounds incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we do agree on Grenache 100%.
Yeah.
And specifically, I mean, yeah, my love affair with Jig and Doss. Like, I love those wines. I love that place too.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Where else shall we go? Well, I have mentioned Priorat and Palaz, but that's also can be Grenache.
Yes.
Some of my favorite. I've actually been really digging some Israeli wines and some. Yeah. So some of their there is this one wine, and I don't remember the name, but it's actually a Cabernet crossing that they've been planting there, and they have and also some of their Grenache crossings as well. Absolutely amazing stuff that you just don't see anywhere else. So those actually have become really beautiful and really things that I'm keeping an eye on because they're getting better and better and better every year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do enjoy, they're really big on reds, full-bodied reds.
Yeah.
From Israel in the higher elevation, cooler regions in the north. And yeah, they're fantastic. I was going to say for my next place, if it's not going to be Grenache, then I want Tempranillo.
Yeah, Tempranillo, my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It's for me, it's surpassed Pinot because Pinot's developing into a lot of different styles.
Yeah.
So that umbrella term Pinot, it's getting a little bit harder and harder to define. So I like the leaner Pinots, the more Burgundian style.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of Pinot lovers really aren't on board with that style.
Yeah.
So for me, Tempranillo for the consistency, for the complexity, that's really that's what makes my heart get going these days.
Oh, that's awesome. So I know you've had some really great Pinots from Germany. Mm-hmm. What's the name of that? Blauburgunder? Is that what they're called? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Their German region called AHR is where a lot of amazing Pinot Noirs are coming from. So you are right. There's, that really, really lean, cool climate, austere.
Yeah.
I absolutely love. Yeah, German Pinot Noirs. Who knew?
I know. I just remember you taught a class, and it was a class on Switzerland and Germanic wines, and the Pinot that was supposed to steal the show kind of fell apart. There was one from Switzerland. Yeah. And it was actually this bottle that I think we've had in our wine cellar since 2013. I think it was, and you pulled that out. And that German Pinot, which wasn't expensive. I remember.
I know we don't talk producers, but I'm going to give a shout out to Becker.
That was Becker?
That was Becker.
Wow. And Becker, their bottles still are under $20.
Oh, they're just such artisanal estate. Yeah. I know. I think it's a dad and son team.
Is it? Oh, okay.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. That was impressive. How much, because that was sort of lost in. Clearly, I do try to keep the inventory in our cellar pretty up to date, but that one was definitely lost in the cellar for a long time.
Yeah, I grabbed it, and it was profound.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really. I'll say I'm going to go to Sicily.
Okay.
And Nero d'Avola is really fantastic, but the Cerasole de Vittoria, which is where they blend it in with what grape do they blend it in with? Frappato. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh my God, that is such a great wine. Yes. Such a balanced, beautiful. And it has best of both worlds. It's just it has that richness, but acidity. Oh, and the flavors just are so layered, so beautiful. And I still remember being on the Cause property, COS, and they're famous for that bottling. Yes. And their dog is their winery dog, just showed up one day, and he was this big, beautiful guy, and he'll let other dogs come in and hang out and be part of the family. And he just definitely checks you out.
I know. I'm trying to remember his name because he made such an impression.
He was. I know. Because when I went back, because this was a work trip, when I went back and looked at the pictures, I didn't take any pictures of the things I was supposed to.
Right.
I have so many pictures of this guy.
It wasn't Zeus.
It is.
It was Zeus.
It's Zeus. They gave him the name Zeus because he just showed up. He's like, "This is my winery now." Mine. Yep, y'all are just hanging out. You're
winery dogs are the best.
I do. I love them. Because that's oftentimes what happens is that especially in Europe, like they find the winery, and because they have a service, like they are keeping out vermin. One of the things I always wanted to do when I was a winemaker is I had this dream that I was going to have a dog shelter / winery, which would be a perfect combination of things because dogs really, really are effective at keeping bunnies and birds out. And those are the things, you just need, you have to keep things away that eat fruit. Birds, deer, and children.
There you go.
And you can get rid of 2 of those with dogs. And if you got 3 of them, then you have Cujo, and that's a problem.
Nice. Yeah.
You also have a lot of explaining to do.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I always wanted to do that. That was something that, I thought was the best idea. And so anyone wants to do that, please take that idea and run with it.
There you go. But yes, cause those southeastern Sicilian blends. Absolutely
just
beautiful.
Absolutely stunning. And then moving into, we've talked a little bit about France. We've talked a little bit about Spain. I'm going to jump into Italy now, because and here is one of the things I know you and I disagree about greatly about favorite wines. So I love Chianti Classico. Chianti Classico for me is the place that should be broken up like Burgundy is into very different classifications. And like towns like Novello Castellini, I mispronounced that. We'll pop that up on the screen so that so I can actually seem like I can pronounce things. But I just love the small little crews in and around, and because I love that grape and I love the nuance of those wines. And so that's one of my all-time favorites, but I know it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Well, I'll throw out an Italian that I was introduced to at the wine school. I wasn't aware of it before, but Aglianico del Valtore.
Oh, yes.
That volcanic soil, the Aglianico grape, which is known as the Barolo of the South.
Yes. And that is all like tar and blackberry and intense. That is not for everybody, but that is serious wine. Oh yeah, no, I always have that in our inventory. Can we call me the cellar master?
Sure.
Why not? Because that doesn't sound creepy at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh, I do love that wine. Oh, and it used to be how it was always made was so impenetrable, but now you're starting to see wines, and I try to keep some here for classes because. Some of that more modern style. It's a little rounder, a little more forgiving, a little bit more fruit in the attack and the mid palate, and harvested later, so it's softer all around. But they're just massive.
Yeah.
And
another massive wine I like from Italy is Amarone.
Oh yeah, Amarone's hard to hate. Like
I think it is.
I think that's like, it's funny. Anyone outside of USA isn't really in love with Amarone, but I think so many of us in this country, absolutely, that's such an amazing wine. Just that style of drying the fruit, and that is so beautiful. So beautiful. And and then there's a wine that I really love that's that's on the opposite side, and we're actually in the Alps is a Schiava.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of these wonderful, like, high-toned, very austere wines.
Yeah.
Which, that I love with food.
Yes.
We did talk about food and wine pairing in another show, but I really love that.
Oh, there you go.
And another one I'm going to throw out that's like this all-American bottle that I will always love is Charbonneau. And I've said this a couple other times.
Yeah, you have.
It is just beautiful and rustic and that high toned, lots of energy, very rustic. There's no way of making it big and fat and like polished. It's just what it is. I really love that wine.
Well, I love that you're talking about U.S. wines, and I'm going to talk about the best wines that are on the East Coast, in my opinion.
Yes.
Which are the Rieslings from the Finger Lakes.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh.
You're not talking about those sweet little ones.
I'm definitely not talking about sweet wines. No. Very dry, very austere. I do have some producers just that are go-tos. So Ravine is absolutely
fantastic.
wonderful.
Is that Cayuga Lake? I think Cayuga Lake.
So.
Because that's where I like to buy from.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we actually originally picked them up, because they were great.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's one of the go-to spots. I so agree.
Of course, Konstantin Frank. He's the classic Ukrainian winemaker.
Yeah, he is.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, those are amazing wines. Yeah, and there's so much there too. And it's amazing to see how much they've grown in the last 20 years. Yeah. Because when I always mark things off from like when the school was founded in 2001 till now, and that's a long time. And watch, like, because nobody but Konstantin Frank back then was making great wines, and he passed away a few years ago. Amazing winemaker, and yeah, he single-handedly changed East Coast winemaking in a way that I just never thought was going to happen. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Because I was making wines over here, on the East Coast by that point. Having really stopped making wines in Italy and California by then. A profound. Yeah, and Washington State is New York State. The Finger Lakes, but also Long Island. I mean, there are some really beautiful things coming out of there too.
Yeah, aside from the reds, there's not sort of like a distinct signature.
Not at all. No. Yeah. No, they really put their focus on Merlot for the most part, which is, maybe, not sure if that was the right bet, but very, very, very well made ones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, I'll always, now this is not a favorite wine, but the first wine I ever made on the East Coast after making Chianti Classico and Napa Cabs was actually Chambourcin on this coast. Oh. And I still have a love, as a winemaker, of making that wine from very, very old vines. Okay. It was actually quite good.
Huh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's, just as a winemaker, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Oh, but really, the hard thing is I know as soon as we stop, I'm going to think of all my favorite wines.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, it is.
We'll just have to do another segment, but this was a lot of fun.
This is a lot of fun. And actually what I would love is if you have favorite wines, put them in the comments below. That would be absolutely amazing because, it's just really out of curiosity to see what you guys are drinking these days.
Awesome.
All right. And if you could like and subscribe too, that would be great. And if you don't, though, you will be forced to drink Manischewitz for the rest of your days. Sorry. Those are the rules.
Mazel tov. Thanks, guys. Bye.